Hey, good afternoon. Michael Wynn, Chief Digital Officer of Digital Ops, a division of RB Oppenheim Associates. Happy Friday, guys. And today we're going to talk about podcasting and why adding a podcast to your marketing plan now will set you up for success in 2019. Guys, here's the thing. Our audiences are constantly on the go. What is the one thing that we do not leave home without 99% of the time? Our smartphone, right? We don't leave home without it. With the capabilities of the new cars that are coming out, whether it's an aux cord or whether it's Wi-Fi or Bluetooth capability or whether it's Apple CarPlay, the ability to listen to and tune into podcast is skyrocketing. I mean, many people probably don't realize that in 2018, about 24% of Americans say that they listen to a podcast regularly. And I think, again, it's just evidence of we are a people on the go. We want content the way we want content, and we want it delivered the way we want it. So, whether we're at the gym and working out and listening to our favorite podcast, or, if we're in the car and we're driving, or, if we're, just sitting in our living room and using our smart speaker system, whatever, that might be, whether it's the Alexa device or Google Home, devices, smart speakers are becoming more and more prevalent in our lives. So podcast allows your audience to tune into what you're looking at. And it also allows businesses to really hyper target their market and their target audience. And what I mean by hyper targeting is really interest based segments of your particular target audience. So not only is having a podcast part of that, but it's also engaging and participating in the podcast world. Because if you go and you search on iTunes or Google Play, in the podcast center, you can find hundreds and hundreds and thousands of podcasts that are available. But there are some top industry leading podcasts there. And many of them are looking for, great content. And so, applying to be or requesting to be a guest host or speaker on a podcast is a great way to get in front of your audience, get exposure for your company, your brand, so that you can demonstrate that your product and or services can solve the problem, that they have in their life as a result of the product or service that you offer. So I think that ability to really hyper target is so huge, and it's going to become more and more important, as we progress as a society and look for voice activated media. I think number two, the value for podcast has got to be search engine optimization. The SEO value of having a podcast on iTunes or in Google Play or some of the other platforms such as Spotify or Radio Public or Stitcher, those platforms are really high ranking in Google's eyes. They have a page rank 1 when it comes to being an authoritative website. So having your profile and in your podcast with the link to your website and having that link back on one of those platforms is huge. And it can really be something that sets you apart and provides that sort of value proposition, addition and reinforcement between your company and your competition. So, I think it's really, really important. I think the other thing that we're starting to see in automobiles, as I mentioned before, Apple CarPlay is now pre-bundled in 24 major automotive brands. which is huge. So, you know, it's not even necessary that they've got to connect their device. Once their vehicle is activated and equipped, you know, they can, you know, voice activated, hey Siri, play, you know, digital ops on iTunes, you know. So I mean, we can access that directly from voice activation from those smart devices within our car, as well as devices that are in our home. And you know, I think once you think about, well, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to, you know, have available? You know, so I mean, here's the thing. I've talked about it before on Facebook Live. You know, I take and record simultaneously while this video is being recorded. I plug in and activate Anchor.fm, which is a free tool. Again, it's Anchor.fm, and it's recording the audio of the video that you're watching right now. And so I'm able to simultaneously record this information and share it with my podcast subscribers. So again, it's really about creating value and leveraging the technology to amplify your message across platforms where people are wanting to access that information. So, you know, I really try to think about creating value. I mean, all of the ideas and strategies and tips that I talk about, I mean, you know, I'm giving these away for free because I believe that as companies realize value and continue to see business growth, we all win at that. So, you know, I continue to push and you know, share this content and these strategies with my friends, with my family, with you know, people who are really interested in growing their business, because I think we all win when that happens. So, you know, I think that creating value and wanting to build an audience should be a core part of, you know, what you do and why you build your podcast content. You know, so what I do is I kind of go back over and I look at, you know, what are some of the topics that I've talked about. Maybe I want to build on some of those. You know, I've had, you know, several friends and family members who've said, yeah, you know, you talked about that, I'd like to learn more. And so, you know, that encourages me to continue to, you know, crank out more content and dive deeper into some of these strategies that can really help grow your business, help grow your personal brand, and really allow you to understand how incredibly deep and wide the internet is right now, and how the platforms that lay on top of the internet, such as Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat and YouTube, you know, and on, and now with podcast as well, it really allows you to maximize and increase your overall reach of reaching people where they are, without them having to go out of their way to find your content. So again, why should you make podcast part of your overall marketing plan now and be successful in 2019? Number one, make sure that you now have the ability to hyper target, you know, have interest-based segments of your audience, delivered content straight to their speaker, earbuds, or car. You know, realize the search engine optimization value of podcasts. And then lastly, you know, continue to build value, create value, build your audience. And that's a win-win for any business, whether you're small, medium, or large. So those are my tips for today. Thank you again for tuning in this week. Again, my name is Michael Wynn. I'm the Chief Digital Officer at Digital Ops, a division of RB Oppenheim Associates. Hope you guys have a great holiday weekend, and we will see you next week.